Formal education may make you a living, but self-education will make you a fortune, says Darren Hardy, author of the book The Compound Effect. Jumpstart your income, your life, your success. It's a book about habits. It's a book about taking small, repeated actions on a daily basis in order to produce those outsized returns that we know as the compound effect, otherwise known as the plateau of latent potential, as phrased in the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, the current whoa, in and out camera. Okay, so we got a new camera. You can see it's a little bit more clear, and it's very bright. It's very bright in this area. We have a lot of lighting in this area. But the book I'm going to discuss is Compound Effect, not Atomic Habits. Atomic Habits is next. Obviously, they play on each other. Habits are habits, and no matter how you look at them, there's more than one way to skin a cat and explain how they operate, but they are both very consistent. And the strength of Darren Hardy is the compound effect is because he brings it to you in a very direct way that lights a fire under your butt. And he takes us from not only in the money context, but also in the work context, in the relationship context, the mentorship context. He talks about garbage in, garbage out. Don't listen to news and all this other destructive stuff that permeates our minds and takes us off our goals and off of our daily habits. The key is to instill good habits and eliminate bad habits. The key is to develop momentum with the small habits that are in alignment with your goals. I'll put out a video later about how to figure out what your life purpose is in order to implement or set goals and implement habits to reach those goals. But to achieve astronomical success, you don't need these major transformations. What you need is smart choices that result in actions that occur daily, do not break the chain, that occur daily over time, whether the time is 2 years, 5 years, or 10 years. You have to be consistent and you have to be resolute about those actions. And you know if they're good actions or not. I mean, look, after I read this book, I'll tell you what I did. I now have a system. It's very simple. I have Post-it notes that are on my kitchen cabinet with just 4 daily habits that I have to implement and stick. And I make the cues, the triggers, so visible that I have no choice but to see them all day and mark them off. What are my 4 habits? Number 1, pull-ups. Instead of going to the gym, now I have to do 10 pull-ups. By the way, 10 turns into 20, but my point is doing 10 pull-ups every day for a year. Can you imagine what that's going to do to my upper body and my lats? I'm a lifelong exercise fanatic, but as you get older, it's hard to maintain the motivation in order to go to the gym. So forget about going to the gym. Just bring the gym to you and get on the pull-up bar. Number 2, banking. So now I'm going through my bank accounts and deploying capital in a smart way, whether it's going to savings, whether it's going to the IRA, whether it's paying down a line of credit, whether it's going to the Amex bill, whatever it is. It's the daily repeated action of looking at the bank statement, seeing where you are and taking action. That gives you peace of mind. What else do I do? Any word that I encounter in any of these books, I look them up and then I test myself on the words later by recall. We talked about that strategy in Ultra Learning, which you can find in my channel. By the way, I now have 2 sections in my channel, one for habits, psychology, and self-mastery, the other one, business and productivity. Obviously, the channel will grow with the more books that I synthesize and deliver to you on a silver platter. And finally, what else? So I have to look at two videos to increase my skills in the area of video production and YouTube channel building. I mean, look, I got the Blue Yeti microphone now. That's brand new. I got the new camera. You can see it's a lot clearer in here now. It's not as grainy. Small improvements day after day. So if I watch one 30-minute video a day, every single day, no skipping of weekends, can you imagine the outsized return that's going to come at the end of the year? The plateau of latent potential. James Clear gives some nice analogies about the plateau of latent potential. For example, cancer, God forbid, spends 80% of its life cycle undetected, and then after its detection, it takes months and it ravages the human body. Bamboo takes 5 years to develop underground, and then it hits the ground level of the soil and explodes 90 feet into the air. Plateau of latent potential. It could be applied to anything in your life that you want to improve upon. Money not only being the only one, but it comes down to choices, delayed gratification. Okay, instant gratification is one of the biggest flaws of the human mind. We all know it, and we're not even built for this delayed return environment that everyone talks about. We're not built to think about 20 years down the line. We're built and designed to think about getting food today and sleeping under shelter today. So now we have to train ourselves for this delayed return environment and take that $10 and put it into savings, because we have to think about 20 years in the future. But it's also fun to track habits, and it's also fun to know that you're getting better at something. And when you get better at something, it's a self-reinforcing loop, and you keep doing it. So if you're a habit buff and you like psychology and you want to get more information to spark that fire in your life, I suggest the book. I loved it. Darren Hardy's the real deal. I think said he was a millionaire by age 24, had a business earning $50 million by age 27. So he's not just a talker. He's the creator of Success Magazine. He takes this stuff seriously. Get the book. Tell me what you think in the comments. And by the way, subscribe so you can get my other book reviews. And until then, I will see you again. Jesse Langell.
Hey, what's up? John Sonmez from simpleprogrammer.com. So I've got another book review for you. Today I'm going to be talking about a book that I've been wanting to read for a while. I finally got around to reading. It's called The Compound Effect by Dan Hardy, who was the editor, or I think still is the editor of Success Magazine, I believe. And this is funny because a lot of you have pointed to some of the videos I did. In fact, I did this video on, I think I called it the knife's edge principle or something like that. You can check it out here. But I basically talked about what is essentially written in this book, which is this idea that small little changes that you make, positive or negative, over time are going to accumulate or compound and result in huge drastic changes. And it's funny because I hadn't read this book when I stumbled upon that, and then kind of at the very beginning of this book, Dan Hardy, the author of the book, he basically says, look here, and he gives like 3 guys' lives, and he says, okay, this one guy, he's eating just a little bit unhealthy, and he's doing these things, and is doing these negative relationship habits. This other guy, he's kind of just like doing whatever, his normal life, and this other guy's starting to make some positive improvements, starting to like run and eat just a little bit more healthy. And he shows what happens over the course of like 3 years, 5 years, over the course of their lives. And they're on totally different paths. They were all kind of at the same level, and then it didn't take very long for the compounding to happen. He said in 1 year, you don't even detect a change. In 2 years, maybe not. But by 3 years, they're totally on different paths. And so that's what this book is about. It's a really good kind of personal development, self-help book, but it's very practical in the sense, and really the idea behind this book is that if you do small things and make small changes and habits in your life, that those things compound. And there's a thing called momentum, and once you get momentum going, it sort of keeps the flywheel going and makes things really, really start to stack up. So this is what I've seen in my life, definitely, from everything that I've done. You could just take the example of this YouTube channel, right? I started doing YouTube videos. It took a long time for me to get 1,000 subscribers, and then 2,000 was a little bit faster, and then I started doing more and more videos, and I started getting more and more momentum, and then pretty soon, bam, I'm putting out like 14 videos a week or more, and now we've got like 40,000 subscribers here, and we've got all this huge momentum, and we're benefiting from this compound effect. And I say we, because I consider it's not just me, right? It's all of you that participate in the community here on Simple Programmer, and I appreciate you. So anyway, the point is that this compound effect is extremely powerful. It's a really powerful principle in life and business and everything, and you should really learn to exploit this principle. So I recommend the book. He goes through a lot of really good information in the book that can help you to understand the compound effect and how it works, and some really good examples of how that works. But like I said, I've seen it in many areas of my life, from YouTube to the blog to, you know, financial investments. It's the same kind of idea. And even through physical and growth type of things is where you create these habits and you start expanding upon them. And then pretty soon, before you know it, heck, you're running a half marathon, or you're doing, you know, you're running a business and you've got employees, right? It's like, you know, you've got to start somewhere, and you got to be consistent. And so he talks about another thing that I'm very much a fan of, which is, you know, persistence and commitment, and being patient and persistent, which is really, really important. But if you can, you know, keep going, if you can keep going where other people drop off, then you're gonna get that benefit. So I'll point to the book again, The Compound Effect by Dan Hardy. Highly recommend it. I'm always looking for new books, always looking for good books, and yeah. So anyway, I hope you find that useful. If you do, click the subscribe button, because you know, if you keep on watching my videos, it's going to have a compound effect on your future. Well, maybe not, but anyway, click the subscribe button if you like this video, and I'll talk to you next time. Take care.